All right, I want to share some wisdom that was shared with me, with you all. It's what I call hands in, club out. So through and out of impact, you'll see great ball strikers will have this look that as they work around this arc here, that the club head stays outside the hands. So hands in, club out. Now how do we make this happen? There's a lot of talk about, well, I want my hands to go low left. I want to go low left. But then people start pulling the ball. So that can't be right. Well, I want to keep the club head outside my hands, so I must need to leave my hands forward to not flip it. Well, that's not right either, because how do you hit a 3-iron? Maybe a wedge will work that way because you have loft, but if you de-loft it that much, you've got no upper side of the bag. You got no game up there. So I want to show you how this works. In the golf swing, I'm centered, I'm balanced. Jack Nicklaus talked about turning around his spine. I've mentioned to you before that the upper spine begins rounded or in a flexed position. So the upper thoracic spine, the mobile part of the spine, is rounded here. Then as I create leverage up to the top of the backswing, it moves from a flexed to an extended position. It's nothing special. It's the same thing you do winding up to throw a baseball. Your spine works from a flexed to an extended position. It's the same thing Tom Brady does throwing a football, because that's how the body creates leverage. Well, in the golf swing, we're doing the same thing, creating leverage up here. So Jack talked about turning around my spine with a steady head. Okay, well that's great. Think about this. If this golf club works on an arc or on a circle, well then wouldn't it make sense that the middle of that circle wouldn't move around a whole lot? It would be pretty steady. So, they also mentioned that Jack was 5'10", but it seemed like he had the biggest arc on tour. Well, if I'm centered and I create width around the arc, then I'm going to create more leverage. I'm gaining height effectively by creating a big, wide, strong, powerful arc. So I'm centered and I wind up. Okay, now here's the key. Good players, they've winded up properly or wound up properly into this right hip. So what you'll see is the right hip will get higher than the left hip. That's because the right leg has slightly lost some flex, where the left knee has gained a little bit of flex. So that sets the right side higher than the left. But wouldn't it make sense that if I'm gonna swing on an arc, or if you've ever watched the Winter Olympics, there's a half pipe, that on this side of the arc, the right side of the body would be higher. At this part of the arc, the body would be level. And on this part of the arc, the left side would be higher than the right side. The same thing that's happened in all the great golf swings. So we've wound up. Okay, now we're leveling out. Okay, so where am I level? Well, for a stock 7-iron, some of these variations will change depending on the trajectory you want to hit. But for a stock 7-iron, I want to level out when the club's parallel to the ground. Now, some people have some different places they'd like their hands here, but in a general sense, I'm pretty level right here. Okay, now from here, this is the key. I need this club to work on this 180-degree circle properly. If I can get wound up properly, leveled out properly, then I've got a chance to do what Hogan's doing. Because from here, this right wrist, this right elbow, this right pec are gonna fire the club down in front of me. It's that last little bit of leverage right there. I've come up to here, I've leveled out, now the right arm fires. Some of the higher handicappers, that right arm fires a little early. That's what we call over the top. But good golfers, that right arm fires late. So now, think about this. On this side of the arc, I wound up around my spine. I leveled out in the bottom of the half pipe. Then this right arm fires underneath my pecs while I'm simultaneously rotating my body around the corner. So what you'll see is, if I do it right, wind up, create leverage, level out. Now it's time for the right arm to go. wham, it fires into impact, and then the body's in rotation. So it works around the corner, just like this. All I did was get my club in front of me at impact. So this left shoulder is loaded, this left tricep's loaded, this right pec, this right wrist, the club's in front of me. Okay, the body is what keeps the hands in while the club stays out, because everything's rotating together right here in the great golf swings. So, just something to look at when you see an old picture or a great golf swing. Just notice next time what it looks like through here. The greats had the club face stable through here, where the not so greats are a little bit lost there. So centered, wound up, leveled out, right arm goes, everything moves together, and then from here, all we have to do from here is fold the wrists and elbows, and we look like Sam Snead. So I hope something in this video was helpful. Thanks again.